This is a really big video for Problem Children Are Coming, and there's like a bunch more to it, but basically Problem Children, this is a one-shot that I did for Patreon a month ago, and what you're seeing now is basically me a month ago in the past recording this video for you guys, because I just got done watching Problem Children, so we're wearing the same outfit and everything like that. So basically, if you don't know what one-shot is, I did the entirety of the first season, if there is going to be more seasons, whatever. Everything for Problem Children, episode 1 to episode 10, in one sitting, roughly about 3 hours and 40 minutes worth of reactions, of a reaction. So click in the description, the link in the description below to go watch my reaction, and then come back here for kind of a brief-ish overview of my thoughts of the show and everything, and what I liked about it. Some funny bits I liked, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, click away now or be spoiled as to what happened in this anime. Okay, so it's a really good show. I like it a lot. I love the whole premise of like the grim fairy tales, sort of like legends and myths of like our world, kind of seeping in and being like manifested into like actual characters. Like the one girl was like the manifestation of the sun, right? Like she's like the embodiment of the sun. Other girls like the plague, and the Pied Piper, it was an actual person kind of thing, got power from the kids and everything. The flute girl, I'm not sure exactly, I can't remember what they described her. I guess just a version of Pied Piper, maybe. I can't remember what her version of it was. And then like the storms were all like creatures kind of thing. Everybody's kind of like a fairy tale legend in their own right, basically. And there's these three kids who get kind of pulled into this world, or I guess contracted to come into this world because they have gifts themselves. They're born with it, and they use those gifts to help a certain community, which is kind of like a faction or whatever we call them, led by, or not led by, but with this girl, bunny girl, in it, who are known as the no names, and it basically follows their journey as they go throughout the land trying to get their name back, and their flag and all kind of stuff. It's sad that we never got to see a single mention of their flag, the no names, or their name, like their actual like community name. We never got to see any of that. We never got to see any of the past members or like the past leader. We never got to see like a flashback moment of them, or any kind of hint on, no one slipped and said their name by accident kind of thing. So they just always refer to them as the no names. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if there is going to be another season. I mean, they left it open ended, right? Basically, it was a conclusion to like the current story to some degree, but it's still pretty open. There's still a lot that they need to be done. Plot-wise and everything like that. One thing I didn't really get right away was the last scene of them, the main character, one of the main characters, the guy, the person who can like almost like, what was it? He was like, his gift is to defeat gifts. Like he deletes gifts or something like that, right? Like he's an unknown. His gift just like is all freaking powerful. Like I was thinking that he was a demon lord himself, kind of thing, when I first like started kind of theorizing about it. But who knows at this point? But he had a letter fall from the sky with a symbol on it, and I think the symbol was the twin maidens or whatever that one was. It looked sort of similar to like their kind of emblem, but I don't know. It'll be just interesting to see if there is going to be a second season or whatnot. I don't know. If there is going to be a second season, or if there is going to be movies, adaptations, or OVAs, that kind of thing, I'll add them to my list of like bonus content that'll kind of throw periodically on my channel. So look out for that if there is content available for more Problem Children episodes and OVAs and movies and that kind of thing. If there is going to be some of that, I'll add them to my docket of stuff to do for bonus stuff. So yeah, basically, I'm just gonna kind of run through my likes and dislikes. Not too much dislikes. Maybe a couple things. I'll run through them real quick since they're really quick. The dislike is obviously the fan service is not needed. Some of the fan service is pretty funny, like how they dealt with it and everything. But like the bath scenes that were like kind of not needed. Uh, yeah, like well, one of the main thing is I know in Japan it's like age consent or whatever is like really low, but in the U.S. it's like 18 and older kind of thing. So seeing 15-year-olds like butt ass naked kind of thing is super bizarre. But that's kind of like one of my dislikes is like I don't care about that stuff. Like I don't care about fan service in general. There's a time and place for fan service, but like yeah, not needed. Um, there was um, there was a scene that I really enjoyed that was fan service-y. It was the bit where they were talking about her skirt like or her enchanted outfit or whatever, right? And the main guy he was asking one of the demon lords, or I guess yeah, the floor master for the eastern floor master. He was asking her why did she enchant it to make it so you can never see like up her skirt kind of thing, and that whole scene was freaking hilarious. I loved it so much because they had the overarching like epic music in the background and like her like expression and like she was dead serious the entire freaking time about the whole like it's an art form and like if you actually see it then like you get like this like perverted side of you kind of like gets like you're like I get to see it kind of thing, but if you never get to see it then your mind gets like erasing about what it could look like and all this kind of stuff. The explanation was so freaking funny. That was the I think that overall that was my favorite like fan service bit of like of like all the shows. And the way like a hardcore freaking serious moment with like epic music all talking about a skirt like like it was so funny. um but yeah, the show in general was really good. A really good comedy kind of like spliced in throughout the whole show. Characters were really cool. The one girl who could talk to animals, I liked her the best. She's really cool. The Griffin bit in the very like near the start, fantastic episode. I love that bit for that character. Talking to the Griffin and then like going along with him, and then the Griffin's talking to her back and everything. And after they win, she kind of like gains his ability, um, to like walk on air or whatever like that. So that was a cool episode for her. I think for the main guy, the unknown gift guy, names I'm sorry, I spaced on all Japanese names, so I apologize. Um, Usually when I have shows like this, I go through months or like weeks and weeks and weeks, and I slowly start to learn the names and everything. But in one shots, it's almost impossible because I'm never gonna remember all these names in one sitting. But yeah, so he had the cool episodes with at the very first episode he fought the dragon, the water serpent, whatever creature. He fought the squids with like the one-eyed uh, witches or whatever we call it, the ones that like was there's some kind of legend tied to them. I can't remember exactly what it was. I haven't read up on that legend or that myth or whatever we call it in a long freaking time. But I from what I remember, it's like there's three maiden or not maidens, but like there's three witches, three sisters, and they've given up all their eyesight, and they all share one eye to see through. All three of them share one eye. I can't for the life of me remember the entire story, but them plus like this kraken looking beast thing going up against the main dude was awesome. And yeah, he had really good bits. Like I know he's like in the long run, people can argue he's like OP and all this kind of stuff. I think he's the right form of OP. Like he did get hit quite a bit. I mean he didn't lose by any means, but like at the very end he had a good fight with the Pied Piper, the old Piper I should say. He had a good fight with them and the Plague Girl. So I mean he got hurt. So he's not immortal. if that was ever like a theory or that. So his arm was messed up pretty bad, and then I think his arm was the worst out of everything. I don't think he got hurt too much after that. Well, he spit up blood at one point. I think that was with the Piper as well. Um, yeah, I think the Piper made him bleed. Or yeah, made him cough up blood. The controller girl, she's obviously had a lot of moments of like the really cool moments. Obviously with the giant mech suit thing, that was awesome. Getting control of that thing and everything. So yeah, it's interesting how her gift like evolved, because like ultimately she thought her gift was all about controlling people and like making them do her bidding, all this kind of stuff. Turns out she can do way more than that. She can control gifts. Like she can like just control any gifts, basically. If what it seems like that's how they explained it. So she's got a pretty OP ability as well. And even the animal girl, she's got a pretty OP gift. Like gain friends with an animal, gain all their traits, kind of thing. Like I mean, not all traits. I'm pretty sure she can't fly like a griffin or a bird or anything like that, but she can walk on the air. She can jump like a cat to chase something if she needs to. She can jump very far. Use the strength of like all the animals to her advantage, like the elephant kind of like crashing down like onto somebody. Oh gosh, what else? There was a couple other animals that. Well, I mean, mostly she used the cat like reflexes, the jumping, a bit of the air walking or whatever from the griffin, and then she used the elephant, and then there was something else that I can't remember that she used. There's something else I can't remember. But yeah, so her power is really awesome. Talking to animals, gaining their trust. Once they gain their trust and like becomes friends with her, she gains their abilities, which is really, really awesome. Oh, the dog thing. That's right. It's the dog hearing. 10 dog friends that she had, and she can use that to her advantage with ears and everything. And then smell, I think, as well. That's probably for dogs as well. Dogs, cats, either one. I'm assuming the more dog side, though, more than anything. What else? There was something. I feel like there's one more thing that I'm missing. I can't for the life of me remember. Anyways, it was really cool to see like the myths and everything kind of come together. Like I want to like if you showed me like the first couple episodes and then after that like had me theorize about it, I would never even consider like fairy tales and that kind of thing to come into play. Like I mean, you can kind of see it here and there in the first couple episodes, but it wasn't prominent. It wasn't like in your face, they're fairy tales kind of thing. Like they're not. It's not apparent that like right away like these are myths. These are like the embodiments of myths kind of thing. It's never really like apparent until a little bit towards the end of the season, like I think episode 8 or 7 or 8, when they start talking about the Pied Piper, and the Piper, I should say. I always kept calling the Pied Piper, but I think the Pied Piper is a different story than the actual Piper itself. Because I think the Pied Piper was all about the animals, and the Piper was all about the kids. Was it the same story? I can't remember now. Shoot. Anyways, it was kind of later on when we noticed that like all these like creatures and people and everything that live in this world kind of share traits and share the embodiments of these phenomena basically in our world in different timelines and such, because that was really cool. All 3 kids basically came from different points in history, and different points in reality. Um, one of their paths might have a one way of like history. Other kid has a whole different other branch of history, and then another kid has like a whole other different kind of history, and that's all different histories kind of thing, and different points in time. Um, so that was pretty badass. Um, to realize that and such. So oh gosh, what else? What else? What else? It was really cool to see the different like gifts and stuff kind of thing. Like of course, three main characters, of course, but the bunny girl, she can kind of like I think is when she's um, focused on like a task or um, yeah, I think it's more so that like focused on a task is when her hair turns pink. Originally it's blue. When turns pink, she becomes like uh, hyper aware, and then she wants to like it's really normally when she wants to get something done. Um, it's kind of like what I gather. She reminds me a lot of the bunny from Alice in Wonderland. Um, if that makes any sense. Kind of ish, like ish a little bit. Um, not because she's the bunny, but there's other traits and that kind of thing that kind of remind me of the bunny from Alice in Wonderland. Not really the clock keeping. She doesn't have she's never had like a stopwatch or anything with her. But like, there's other kind of like little bits and quirks and everything to her character that kind of remind me of the Alice in Wonderland bunny. Um, so I wonder if she's ever like inspired by or whatever that bunny. But apparently there's other bunnies like her, so that's interesting. Because like it's people were saying like in the north when they're in the Coliseum, people were saying like, oh, it's the bunny of the moon or whatever her I guess race is or whatever. Um, so like there's more of them, which is really cool. So yeah. Oh gosh, what else? It was a cool show. I really, really liked it a lot. It was really, really cool. Um, to see like the progression of the characters and them kind of slowly come around to like their way of thinking kind of thing was pretty interesting, and like how they dealt with all these kind of like um, trials. And the whole game thing is really cool. How like one person's the host, and then like it's kind of like uh, a larger version of the game of death, right? Like if you have ever heard the story of death, like they always have like um, when you die and you meet the Grim Reaper, right? You have an opportunity to kind of play a game with him, and if you win, you keep your life. If you lose, then he takes your life, kind of thing. And the Grim Reaper normally always wins, basically. And there's a very, very, very select few that do actually succeed in winning against Grim Reaper. That kind of reminds me of this whole game aspect of this show. Like instead of like the Grim Reaper doing or I guess in the long run, the whole case is like the person who's dead gets to be the host of the game and gets to decide which game, and then the death kind of just follows them and beats them basically at any game. Anyways, in this show, it's mostly like there's one host. They come up with the terms, the prizes, who gets what, that kind of thing. The recipient gets to look it over, accept it, and then whatever the duel is, either a duel or a some kind of event or some kind of game in general. They have to do the game to succeed to whatever the rules state, and then they get the prize. Whoever wins gets the prize, kind of thing, or the spoken rule or whatever. Like, if you win, I get to do something for you for once or whatever, and then like the other person has whatever that duel, the duel they had with the bunny girl and the main guy, when they both had like that chase with each other kind of thing, which we never actually got to see what they ended up doing with that prize. Like they both caught each other, which is like a duel, like um a draw. So they both had the same thing where the guy can ask or tell her to do one thing for her, or for him, and then uh, he has to do one thing for her, and that they kind of like they matched it, or he said it because he wanted to kind of be on his terms, but then she wanted to match it because she wanted to be fair, kind of thing. She's more of a judge kind of character, and we found that out multiple times in the show. She's a very good judge, and her ears can pick up on the actual place. So I really do want to know more about her race, the bunny people kind of thing. If there's more of them, the creator of the whole place, who he is, like, is it God? It's just like I don't know. It was a really cool show. I really liked it a lot, and if there is more to it later on, I will for sure do it. So yeah, I think that's it for me to talk about. If there's anything else that you would like me to like talk about in the comments below, please comment below, and I'll talk to you guys down there about the things, about the stuff, about my favorite characters and such. I mean, you guys already know my favorite characters. What's your favorite character of the show? What did you like and dislike about the show? What would you like to see next if there is season 2? That kind of thing. I would love to see the West and the South, more of the East and more of the North, basically, and the center, the very center, like the first ring, right? Because like there's like a 1 ring, 2 rings, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Like the 7 digits. I want to know who's number 1. Like obviously it's like the main head guy, like where she's like the creator, probably he's up there. I want to go there. That'd be cool. But yeah. Let me know down below what you guys thought of this show and everything like that, and I will see you guys in my next one-shot. Also, by the time this one-shot comes out, this video, once this hits public, there is another one-shot up on Patreon. So if you wish to support Patreon, support the channel, you can donate any amount towards the channel, and you get access to one-shots a month before anybody else. So just a little bonus thing I wanted to put together for my my patron folks and everything like that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one-shot. Right now, not sure what it is, but by the time this airs on YouTube, this redirect, I will hopefully know. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one-shot. Take care, everybody.